Using the calculate table as well as using the filter function, you can subset the data. We can subset the tables data. Supposing you have huge volume of data, you don't want to work with the huge volume of data all the time. So there are some reporting requirement for which you want to use the subset of the data. In that kind of situation, you can use either calculate table or the filter function. You can use both calculate table and filter as a standalone function. If you use it alone, for example, if you use the calculate table directly, it will return a table with a subset of data, whatever the conditions that you specified. Okay, if you don't specify any conditions like filter one, filter is all optional. Okay, the table is mandatory, the rest of them are optional. You simply specify the table, it will take a duplicate of the table, it will clone the table. But the whole idea of using calculate table is you want to subset the data. You want to extract a specific based on some condition, you want to store it here. Both filter as well as calculate table returns a table, but both of them takes the first argument as a table. Okay, but the calculate table is helpful in terms of modifying the filter context. Okay, whereas filter will not modify the filter context. For example, you are using the calculate table in a measure. This one I demonstrated in the last session. Okay, in that case, what happens? I see in the same measure, I used it with the filter also, but with calculate table, we can modify the filter context, right? So the calculate table helps us to modify the filter context. That is what we discussed. Now let us go ahead and see how we can implement them here. I just show you. Let me just, in the interest of time, calculate table in United States and calculate table key filters. Okay, one second. I just go back to the data view. In the data view, I think I have already created the calculate table. No, this one. Yeah, this is the one, calc table. Look here, in this case, calculate table function, I used it. I have used the calculate table directly instead of using it in a measure as part of your calculate function also. So in this case, I have clicked on the new table. Because the calculate table returns a table, you need to click on the new table only. If you want to use the calculate table as part of your measure, that is also possible. So in that case, you know very well the in the case of measure, we can wrap this with the calculate function or some x function or so on. Okay. So in this case, look here, the first filter condition is Boolean. Of two conditions I used it. United States in technology. You just return the data here. Okay. So this is the table. Simple, pretty simple. And we can take the same condition. And then let me see if I have any, I think I demonstrated with filter also. We'll compare side by side and look here, filter table example. United States and technology. But here the difference is in filter, you can use only one condition. The similarity is both calculate table and filter takes the first argument as a table. And the second argument, you can specify as many filters as possible using calculate table. Whereas in filter, you can specify only one filter condition. But you can use ampersand or operator to filter the data. Okay. So both of them returns a table subset. So in this case, our intention is we wanted to subset the sales W04 data set. Let's assume that this one has huge volume of data. In technologies category in United States, whatever the transactions happen, only that one we have stored it in this table. Okay. So both of them serves as some kind of, the intermediary table. Okay. So with this table, you can do further analytics also. Okay. Fine. The next one is, look here. In this case, I have used the calculate table in measure. I have used the calculate table in a measure. So when you go to the modeling ribbon and when you click on the new measure, this one come here. This already I have shown you how to create the measure. So here I have used the first argument as an expression. In this case, is a measure. You can use a measure inside the measure. Total sales one is nothing but sum of sales. So within United States, so calculate table, it builds a table behind the scene, kind of a virtual table, United States. So now on top of, and then what happens is, this one will get evaluated. This expression gets evaluated. First, this condition gets evaluated, and then this one gets evaluated. On top of the United States related transactions, apply the sum of sales. Okay. But if you use a slicer, and if you select a different country, still this one will override the existing filter. Whereas if you use a filter here instead of calculate table, so it will not override the filter. Okay, it will not. For example, yeah, in this case, since we are using, okay, instead of calculate, if I directly use filter function, right? Do you think it will override the filter context? Okay, let me do one thing. I'll just use this one, and I'm going to use a slicer here. Okay, okay, I will come back to that. Leela, 1 second, 1 second, Leela. Oh, give me some time. Give me some breathing time. I will go one by one. And here, for example, here I mentioned about the country, right? Sales W04, yes. Okay, here in this case, I'm using this one. Okay, here in this table. Okay, why better we can use some odd visual to display the sales. Instead, here I'm going to use the calculate table in measure. So this one is related to my United States. Remember it, okay? And next one is I just go here and then I'm going to select search. And in this case, I'm going to search United States. It remains as it is, okay? Fine, I just copy paste this. But United States, it shows this one only. When I change other country, it should not change, right? Because in the calculate, I have used the calculate table. And here what I do is I'm going to create another measure. Yes, Leela, you can use filter as part of your calculate table also. That's a good question. Okay. You can use filter also as part of your calculate table. Yeah, the first argument, you can use filter. Filter also returns a table. You can use it that way. And here, okay, I'll do one thing. Here in this case, I just copy pasted it. Once again, let me just see. Because we are running short of time. Many things to be covered. And here I just modeling ribbon, new measure. Yeah, here you can use filter. That's correct. United States, sales W04, country equal to United States. Okay, here I just give some filter versus filter and okay, let's do one thing. Yeah, in this case, it gives, since we are using calculate function, it gives the same thing. Yes, done. I just closed it. 4.16 and here let's do one thing. United States. Look here, when I selected United States, it got disappear. Okay, but here it remains as it is. It remains as it is. So with this, you are able to understand filter function, right? So the difference is, the key difference is the filter function, it doesn't modify the filter context. Okay, so the difference is it doesn't modify the filter context. Okay, look here, when I select the unit tests, both of them are showing it. So with this, it is pretty clear. The calculate table function, override the existing filter context. Look here, it override the existing filter context. If I go and click on this thing, the existing filter context United Kingdom. Here also, if you see the United Kingdom, it is not overriding the existing filter context, whereas the calculate table override the existing filter context. That is the key difference between filter function and calculate table. Hope you understood with this example what is the difference between filter, and both filter and calculate table you can subset the data, but with calculate table you can add as many filters as possible. Both of them returns a table using which you can subset the data. But the difference is, yeah, you can use both calculate table function or the filter function as part of your measure also. But the difference is calculate table override the existing filter context, whereas filter, it doesn't override the existing filter context. When you, if you want to modify or override the current context with one or more filters, or calculate table is helpful. Okay, but it is not changing the current context. Which one? The filter function. It is not, but the current context in this case, the United States, right? It is not changing that context. Okay. Look here, if I change some other country, it is not. It is not overriding in simple term. Yes. So this is pretty clear, right? Any questions? And other differences, yeah. So if they ask you something like, what is the difference between calculate? Calculate returns a scalar, which means a single value. Calculate table returns a table. So filter already we discussed. And in the case of filter, yes, it takes a subset of the data and it builds a virtual table behind the scene and it applies the sum on the virtual table or subset of the data. Okay. So next one is the all function, also all except keep, filter, remove filter, all those things, and including selected value. So selected value, you can use it in different scenarios. Okay, what scenarios you can use it? For example, you have dynamic conditional formatting. Conditional formatting we discussed. Where did we discuss? Can all of you type it in the chat window? Where did we discuss about the conditional formatting? Guys, think me about your customer. I'm your US customer. If you always attend the training program, if you treat your trainer as US customer, then you have crossed off of the river. Okay. Okay. Yes, Leela. Okay, okay, good. What she says is selected value using which we can make our report dynamic. Okay. Yes, conditional formatting we have discussed in table as well as matrix. Don't do Googling and tell. Tell me upfront. Okay, but you need to tell. Okay, because nowadays, right, everything in the interview is all video calls. I know very well. Sorry, you might be watching somewhere. Maybe you are checking your status or something. Project. Fine. Understood. Okay. Okay. Oh, good. Good. Okay. So, okay. So if I wanted to make my matrix, for example, here I just show you. Look here. In this case, I have a matrix visual. I want to enable conditional formatting. That we learned how to do that. My question to you is, you know what is selected value function does? What I would suggest to you is create a dynamic conditional formatting, create a measure where you use switch function. You define the condition. Okay, if the sales is so and so, false in so and so range, red. Simply put red, double quote, red, red, amber, green. Put it. Okay, create a measure. Okay, and then create a static table. The static table, what you do is, use a switch like status on off. See, sometimes what will happen is to enable the conditional formatting. Some users, they do not prefer it. So is there any way if I can switch off that conditional formatting? I don't want the background color to be highlighted in red, green, amber, and all. So then you can give them a other slicer, additional slicer, an option wherein if they want the dynamic conditional formatting to be the back for the background color, they can click on yes. If they don't want that, they can click on no. So in that case, you create a static table. I'll just do it quickly and show you again. This is one scenario we'll be using. For example, I just go here, modeling ribbon, click on a measure. Mm, value one. Okay. Here the switch true function. And in this case, what do we do now? How many of you remember? I taught you about this, right? Here in the switch function, I'm going to use this column sales or else let us do one thing. Total sales one is there, right? So it's not displaying here. Only target M. Oh, here, let me do one thing. No, no, variable is not recorded. Why? We can use a variable without variable also. You can do. Let's say, yeah, in this case, we can use only, but I created total sales everything, right? So let me just see here. Yeah, total sales. I think I did not. One second. Let me just have it. Well, this is the data visualization part. I think here I did not create it. I'm still thinking that way. Total sales. Here, first we'll create some measure, another measure, right? We'll go step by step. So I was under the impression that in the last session, that is another report file. I was still thinking that report file I'm working on it. This one has only the visuals. total sales is equivalent to sum of sales here. Okay, and then the next one is the conditional formatting. Here, if I go here, and here ideally it should come that one also. Yeah, the total sales is greater than um let me do one thing. Or else here it gives you only the okay, what I will do is otherwise sales bucketing. I mentioned the sales bucketing, right? Yeah, low, high already there. Is there any way that we can see what the idea here is? I want to specify red or green here. Here the sales bucket is also not coming. That is an sales bucket. Where did I use? Or else let me do one thing. The total sales. Or I will try the sales bucket. No, here it is not coming. It will not come. The total sales is greater than, or if the total sales is less than 0, and the total sales, if the total sales is less than for example, let's say here how much we have. Okay, let's say total sales is very less value here, 10,000. Okay, I'm going to say this is my condition. I'm going to say put red here, else put total sales. Let us see if I do it. Any syntax error? Nothing. Okay. So here I have created the measure conditional format background color. I just go to the visual, select the visual, and if you go to the format your visual, and then if you see here cell elements, where are the cell elements? Where can we set the apply settings to this background color on, and this is the default background color. I'm going to click on the effects formula bar. In this case, the format style is I'm going to select rules, and here I'm going to select the conditional format background color that I used it. Okay, if the values something is there. Okay, here it cannot be the value. Yeah, this is the one values only. In this case, you select values or totals only. If you want to give the totals only, you can give it. Now I'm going to hit OK. Here none of the conditions are meeting. Okay, so I just go back to the conditional formatting, and here ideally we should be able to set this one. But here we are in, okay, But if you create a conditional column, it will work. Okay, here what I do is switch equal to true. I just select this one. Let me first check the sales bucketing here. Let me see in the column tools. It's not displaying the formula bar. I just go back here, and sometimes it will not work. Sales bucketing, if you click on it here, the shipment duration. We have used some formula for that. It is not displaying it. Okay, sales bucketing. I just select this one. The formula bar is not coming up here. Ideally, okay, this is a calculated column, isn't it? Okay, let me just check any other calculated column. Is there? Okay, this is actually calculated column. This column was not there, and I'm wondering why it is. Currently, I'm in column tools. See, the whole idea is you need to create a one second. You need to create a static table. How will you create a static table? How will you create a static table? I'll show you, right. How will you create a static table? All of you, please. Yes, Neela, you are correct. Pradeep, you are correct. And enter data. Yeah, click on enter data. Here, what I do is I will just write the status here. Here I just say status, and here I'm going to say on. The next one is off. Okay, I'm going to create another column here. This is the one I'm going to name it as score, and here I'm going to give it as 1 and 0 binary values. Okay, I have created a table. This is for option. Okay, option or conditional format. I'm going to use a slicer. So what is the next step should I do? You're correct, Leela, right? So how about others? What is the next step? I create a static table. I want to give the feature for the user to either select on or off. When they select on, it should be on. Okay, one second. Let me just check here. And in this case, I'm going to click on the slicer. In this slicer, I need to add the static column, right? What is the static table? I mentioned something like conditional format. Right? This is the one, right? I just drop the status here, on or off. Okay, here off or on is there. Fine. So now we are done. And in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the conditional format measure. And simply what you do is if selected value, if selected value value of what value should I say inside? What value should I say inside? What is the argument? I'm not asking about if. No, 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 no. Not if. I'm asking about the selected column name, comma, alternate value. What column should I specify here? Yeah, what is the column name? Static table column name. Correct. What is the table name? Which column? conditional CND, right? So conditional format. I'm using code smartly. If the code is equivalent to 1, and yeah, the code is equivalent to E double equal sign and 1, comma, you do this. Table name is correct, right? It is highlighted reason. What is this error? Parameter is not the correct type. Okay, parameter code, or else, yeah, capital C, right? I think, yeah, conditional code. So it's case sensitive, is equal to 1. Then, yeah, conditional code 1. Then what you do is you do this. Selected value is a function. Yeah, you need to close this one, and is equal to 1. Then you do this. Else you don't do anything. Okay, first of all, this is not working, or we will leave it as it is. If it is 0, it will not come here at all, right? It will not come here at all. And let us do one by one. Here, selected value. Here, the total sales, the total sales, let's say if the total sales is less than or equal to 10,000. Else, if the total sales is um, okay, 0. Here I'm going to say, let me do one thing. Here the problem is, we can use the selected value directly here, or else, yeah, let me do one thing. Total sales is less than equal to rate. Oh, I think this is the problem. Single quote. Single quote, not single quote. It's double quote only. Correct. Often I get confused with this one. One second. Let me do one thing. I'll just one and rate. If the yeah, this is the if the selected equal to 1, and what, yeah, here you need to use the nested loop. One second. So what is the, how do we solve this issue? We are getting something wrong here. How do we fix this one? Ideally, it should come outside of this one. Okay, if the selected will equal to 1, and put it this way. The logic should be like this. 1, and here we'll put switch. We are getting lakhs together, right? Yeah, total sales is, yeah, let's do one thing. I'll just put 10 lakh, 10,000, yeah, 10 lakh. Right? The total sales is less than or equal to, let's say 20 lakh. I just put number. Okay, that's all. Else, I'm going to say nothing. Don't do anything. This is the one is to close the if. Okay, I just press enter. First thing is you need to check whether it is working fine. Now it is working fine. and it gives me the total sales is less than 10,000. And amber color, why it is not displaying the amber? Amber is not there. Let me do one thing. I'll use yellow. 1,57,000. Okay, okay, okay. Here, what I will do is I will just put 8 lakh, and here 8 lakh, and here less than 15 lakh. I'll use yellow. You specify the color directly here. I'll just close it. And then let me do one thing. Only when I on it, it should work. Okay, and fine. It is opposite is happening here. Off and on. I think, yeah, the conditional format table code and status, right? Let us go and check what value is there. What value did I specify there? The conditional status, conditional format. On is 1, off is 0, right? Okay, code is, I mentioned 1 here in my logic. Yeah, because it takes the first one, right? Off is the corresponding value for off is the code is 1. But that's what I'm wondering why it is picking up this one. Hmm, it's a whole number. Status is a text and it's a whole number, correct? And here I just go and check one more time. If conditional format equal to 1, format code, right? So the table name is that one. The conditional format is a table name. And if the condition is true, it will come here and then it will say switch true, and then it does this one. Correct. Or else you can specify directly that value status equal to, yeah, status equal to, you can say on. But it is doing it now or the other way around. Okay, that's what I'm wondering. And first of all, the color is not coming out clearly. And am I using the correct table? I think I am not using, this is the table name, correct. Status code. In this one, okay, let me do one thing. I just go here in this table. I just go here and then I will just on off is correctly showing it, and short first of all, whether it is doing it, it put red for everything. Right, less than, what is the condition I mentioned? Conditional format. And in this case, less than 8 lakh, correct. It is showing less than 8 lakh. And let me do one thing. Is this correct? 15 lakh. 15, let me just give it a try. The background color is green. Yellow is there, I'm sure. 15 lakh is there. Okay, somewhere some problem, but it is working, but it is working the other way around. Let me do one thing. I just go here, sort axis, sort descending. Okay, and if I do this one on and off, only off is working. This one I will check and I'll come back to you. Okay, there is some issue here. This is the whole idea. You understood, right? When the user they don't want to see the background color, they can toggle this off here. Okay, they ideally it should be here when I click on, it should give the background color, and when I do this one, it give me the red color here. So it should not display anything here. Okay, it is happening the other way around. I will just and I'll come back to you. Okay, there is something wrong here. Status equal to on and switch equal to true. And yeah, only when this one is on, it will come here, or else it will not do anything. Okay, but it is happening the other way around. Maybe because of the code. That's the reason why the code is very reliable. We use code only. The code equal to 1, you do it, or else you don't do that. Yes, this static table will also get created as part of your modeling ribbon. So the static table, what we created was called disconnected table. In the interview, they'll ask you what is the difference between connected table and disconnected table. The table which we have linked with other tables or called your the connected table, the relational tables. There are situations we don't need a relational table. Okay, in that kind of situation, like this, the static tables. So now you can give me the answer. What is the purpose of static table here? What is the purpose of static table, and what is the now you tell me what is the purpose of selected value and what is the purpose of static table? Using static table, we can temporarily store some values that need not to be linked with other existing tables. We can use the values that are available as part of our static table to do some kind of check. Okay, we want to check whether let me do one thing. When I said check, I something else came into my mind. Slicer setting here, selection, you can single select on, you can give at a time the user can select any one of them, because if they select both, it that kind of situation also it causes some kind of confusion. For example, if the users they may select both, right? So in that case, you will get confused. So in that case, what you do is single select on in this case, okay? You can use on or off. But here, let me just quickly go and check it one more time. Let's not spend too much of time. I know it's already too late because most of you already started attending the interview. Sorry, not this one. I just go here and then in this one, I will go and check the cell elements. And here the background color on, and here I just go and check. And yeah, current BG color, that's all values only, right? So gradient and field value, it is not field value. Oh, is that a field value? I think so. I don't think so. Yeah, now it's correct. Ideally, it's supposed to be a field value, not the other one. Good that. So even look here, when I select this one, it's off, and when I do this, it is on. And why green is not coming? Because the condition, right? Some problem. You change the condition, give it a try. Now it is working correctly. So which one you need to select? Go to cell elements and the background color. You toggle this to on and select field value, not the rules. It's not a rule, right? Rule is the manual way of doing it. Field value. In this case, you have different options here. You can use it for totals also, values and totals also, you can enable it. Here I selected the measure. Now it is working correctly. So when you toggle this to off, it went off. So if the user don't want to use the conditional formatting, they can toggle this to off, and if they want, they can toggle this to on here. Okay. So good that I was able to fix it now itself. So that's what, when even where people like us, when we work day and night. So I am not working day and night nowadays with Power BI. I'm working on generative AI only. But still, it's not that all the time we are working there also. Okay, but we forget things, even hands-on people. Very good. So this is also another scenario where you can use selected value function. You can use selected value function in conjunction with if to conditionally calculate measures based on selected value in a slicer. Okay, so that is what we have seen it. And then what other scenarios we can use? So supposing you want to use some fallback logic. For example, the default behavior is decided, right? If no value or multiple values are selected, you can use selected value, okay, to specify default value. Okay, if the selected value is something, you specify some default value to be displayed. In that kind of situation also, you can use it. Okay. Okay, in your slicer, you are selecting something. See, you remember in the last session we discussed, we instead of in the slicer, instead of specifying on off, I use the measures itself there. Measures in total sales, the net margin percentage. And sometimes, if there is an error or something like that, right? Net par margin or something like that. If you want to display some default value, value missing, something like that. If selected value equal to 3, then display some default value. Okay, there is an error in the nothing to calculate, or error in calculating that, something like that you can use. So debugging purpose or fallback logic, if you want to use it, you can use it. And also if you want to check the single value, you can use selected value, for example. And you can use the separate measure to capture the selected values value in a measure. That one you can use it in a quad visual and then drag and drop that measure. You remember in the last session I did it. So in this case, I've used the selected value function directly into the conditional format. Look here, the selected value. See here, what I'm saying is, instead of using the selected value here, okay, this is a measure. Okay, I created another measure. In the measure, selected value, is a measure name is A. A is equal to selected value conditional format code. That's all. And the A is holding the value 1 or 0, right? Here, instead of specifying all the things, A, that measure name. Okay, that is what I'm saying. That is for single value check, the A is holding whether on or off information. That if you want to check it out, whatever the value is selected is on or off, right? Whether the value selected is on or off by the selected value function, you can use the call visual. That is called your single value check. For the single value check, you can say. Okay, next one is we will jump into the add columns function. The add column function is very much helpful to add additional column to your existing table. The first argument is table. The add column function take the first argument as a table, and second column takes the column name. Okay, and the third argument is your expression, and it goes on a name, expression, comma, name, expression. First argument is table, name, expression, name, expression. Supposing the table is calendar auto. What is calendar auto? How many of you remember calendar auto? What is calendar auto? What is the difference between okay, tell me calendar function. At least you tell me calendar function will returns a date table with date column, right? With a date data type of a column. Okay, that is what the calculate function does. And if you want to create an automated table, you can use calendar auto. The difference between calendar function and calendar auto is calendar auto automatically goes and checks the minimum and maximum date in your model. Okay, it automatically goes and picks up the minimum and maximum. And now what I do is, yeah, I just close this one. My job is over here. So I will share this one. You can try check the condition why it is not putting green or something. But probably you can put some range. Okay, if the value is falling between so and so. So here I just go to the see for you to give an example how to use add column function. So we can generate an automated date table. Okay, here I don't know whether I have add columns table. Okay, what I will do is I will create a separate thing here. So you can add a column to your existing table. But what we did, how did we create the date column and all? So how did we create the date column here? 1 second, let me just go here. Here, I think here I used it already. Date add call. Look here. This is okay. I will do it from the scratch. I'll just go back here. So here currently I'm in the data view. So I click on the table tools and I'm going to select the new table because you want to create a date table. So calendar auto function will return a table. So what values it will have in it? It will have a column by the name of date in it. Which one? The calendar auto function will return a column by the name of date itself. Let me do one thing. Add calls date table, something like that. Okay, for you to quickly find out the table, I've given this name, and here I've given add columns, and the next line I'm going to give. Sorry, calendar auto. The add columns function takes the first argument as a table. Since calendar auto function also returns a table, but it will return a table with one column called date. Okay. Hence, I'm going to specify the calendar auto function itself as an argument for the table. Okay. And next one is I'm going to give a name here. Name comma expression. That's what we have seen it. And the expression is here, year function. And here I'm going to say date, date comma. Here I just say y, something like that. Here, okay, I simply say year, that is enough. Okay, and then I'm going to specify comma here, and I just here is a function. I did not mention the closed parenthesis. The next one is a month. Look here, in this case, I can create all the necessary columns in a single script itself. Month of the date. I just say quarter here. Quarter of your date. And then next you can specify the month format also. And here month name. Your quarter is a function. Whenever you see something like that, you did not use the closed parenthesis. Format here you just give month of date column, comma, MMM. You need to use small m, I think so. Or if you wanted to use, yeah, this is month is a function. I did not close it again. Okay, now I made sure that all the open parentheses have the corresponding closed parentheses. This one is matching this. And look here, this one gets highlighted automatically. Look here, this one and this one got highlighted. Everything is fine. I'm going to hit the tick mark. Now it's going to evaluate my DAX query. Look here, with the help of the add columns, year, month, quarter, month name, and then you can you can specify all the columns that are required as part of the date column here. For example, you want the weekday and year, month also you want to add it together, we can add it together also. Okay, instead of previously, how did we create this one? You need to click on new column, right? So first, for example, when you use the calendar function, first argument supposed to be start date and second argument supposed to be the end date. Instead of using the start date, end date, we have used the min start date, min order date, comma, maximum order date in this case. That calendar function returned a table with a date column, starting from the minimum order date to the till the maximum order date. What is that? A month. Month is wrong. Huh? Some problem with month name here. Month name. Oh, okay, okay. Correct, right? Month of date. Did I select from the correct one? The date is yeah. I'm using so many table. Maybe the date is coming from the correct one. Yeah, this one. See, when you see the date separately, that means that is the one. 7/2005. Yeah, month name is not coming out clearly. Let me do one thing. I'll just use full name. Full name, it doesn't matter. Let me do one thing. I will just extra month is coming out correctly, right? Seventh month. Correct. The month. There is something wrong here. Very good catch. Correct. And here, this is the one, right? And let me just copy it. And then I will just paste it here. Month here, it shows 7, right? So it's supposed to be July here. And why it shows something else? There is something wrong here. Yeah, the syntax, everything is correct only. Month name format, it should give the correct month. Okay, here. Okay, it shows Jan. It got confused somewhere. Okay, let me just check this and I'll come back to you. Okay, you can also check this one. Okay, why it is? Maybe it got confused with yeah. So for that reason only, we use this one, the minimum date and maximum date from a specific table itself, because it goes and checks in some other table. But month it correct here it picks up correctly, right? Seventh month. Let me check if the same thing is applicable everywhere here. And if I click on it, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, everything is correct. Or is it getting 1 second? Maybe the sorting. So what I will do is I will select the month name and then I just go to the sort by column. Here I just do one thing. Here the month, right? I just do the month. Sort by another column. Okay, let me do one thing. I will just select this one, column month name. Usually we do it the other way around. Mhm. We cannot sort the month name column by month. There cannot be more than one value in the month for the same value in month name. Please use a different column. Yeah, so different value. Month is the one gives you the month number, right? So there is something wrong with the month of date, month number. That is the one gives you the month number, correct? I'm 100% sure there is something wrong here. Let me use 4M. Let's see if this is. But it still gives me the something wrong here. Okay, with this maybe in this version something wrong. I don't know. So because my everything else is correct. Okay, here the quarter three. Yes, this one falls in the June, July. July falls in quarter three. Mm, March is US calendar date, right? So April, May, June. Yeah, correct. This is correct. Month name is wrong here. Format, month, date. There is something wrong here. Okay, this one I'll check. But the advantage of add columns function, now you understood, within a single screen, instead of clicking new column, you can keep this script somewhere else. Later point them if you want add any column, just open that script and then include the column, and you can probably copy paste it here, or directly you can specify the additional column here, and in that case it will be new column will get added here instead of clicking new column, right? In a single place you can make everything, you can make a changes here. But unfortunately month name is not displayed correctly. There is something, but the syntax is correct. Yes, it is correct. There is something wrong with the way it displays. Yeah, good point. We'll check it out. Okay, we'll check with Microsoft, or let me also check from my side. Did I make any mistakes from my side? I'm sure nothing has been wrongly specified. Good. With add column, so this is not only the date column. For example, in the existing table, if you want to add additional columns, that is also possible with add column. Next one is the lookup value. There is a function called lookup value. So with the help of the lookup value, you can get the data from another table. For example, currently you are in the sales fact table. The sales fact table, you have the list price, but you don't have the cost price. The cost price is available in another table called product dimension table. For each product ID that are available in the sales fact table, the corresponding cost price needs to be picked up from your product table. So in that case, for example, this is your sales fact table. You have the product key column, the corresponding. No, there is no month name function is available. No month name function. You mean to say month name function? No, no, there is no month name function is available. You mean to say here? Are you sure month name is available? First time I'm hearing it. No, no. No, month name is not there. No, it is not there. Yeah. No, no, I'm sure I used it many times. Maybe some version problem. I don't know. Some maybe I'll check one second. Don't worry. Okay. So look up value. In this case, this is my sales fact table, the transaction table for each and every transaction. What are the product keys are there? For that, we want to know the cost price, or the cost price. The cost price is not available here. Where? In my sales fact table, the cost price is not available here. Instead, what I do is I will take the product key and then look the product key in the product dimension table. For example, in this case, the first product in this transaction table is P001. Go and check the corresponding P001 key in this table. If it is available, in this table itself, we have another column called unit price. So go and check the P01, get me the corresponding unit price for this product. Okay, so the value to search for is your last argument. The column to search in, which column you want to search, that you need to specify it here. Here, what you want to return from this table, product table, in this case, okay? So column you want to retrieve. The column that you want to retrieve, suppose your first argument, what is your target table column, key column that you want to lookup in your other dimension table, right? Key column you specify it. This is a pretty straightforward one. We'll just go here. Already I have some example here, and I just go to the sales fact table. And if you see here the cost price, now it is not displaying the formula bar. I just go back here and sometimes, yeah, let me just go to the sales fact. I just type the cost price here. Look here, this is what your cost price lookup. Okay, oh, that is the one I used to try. Yeah, I should have used a lookup table. Yes, lookup value. Okay, I think yeah, this is cost price lookup. There is something. So this is the hard coded one. There is no formula there. That's why it was not showing it. Look here, cost price lookup. If you click on it, it will display here. Correct. I was using the wrong column. This is the one. So in this case, I've used a lookup value. And if you see here, the list price is $50 or 50 rupees, whereas the cost price is 47. This cost price is not available in this table. Usually, the cost price may not be available as part of your fact table. And here for P001, what is the cost price? See, if I give you two papers, look here. If I give you two papers, let me do one thing. I'm going to open that. One paper is having each product name, each product, whatever you select, the product name, along with that, the cost price is there. And if I give you another paper where you need to build the items, okay? So product name is there, product key is there in that sheet. You remember in the case of malls, if you go to the grocery store, those guys, they use it, right? They use the code. With the help of the code, they will sorry, with the product name, they go and check the code name. See, if I give two sheets, this is your product sheet. Here you have the product name and the cost price, and here let's the product key only is there. If I ask you, let's say P001 is there, P001 is there, again P02, P006 is there, but you do not know the price. This is a little bit different. But here P001 and P002, P006, the cost price is there, 100 or 47 in our case, and 57, 67. If I give these two paper, what you will do? If I ask you, look at the product, this sheet 2, let's say this sheet 2, tell me what is the price of P001, what you do? You look at the corresponding P001 in this sheet, and then you see the cost price, right? The same way it works. So in this case, this table, you just think this is your, this table, the product key is there. This product key, what happens is it goes and looks up in this table, and then it returns the cost price. That is what is happening. Got it? That is how it works. In this case, even if you don't have the relationship exists between the tables, it will return the cost price. It works. It doesn't require the relationship between the tables. Which one? The lookup table. But here you need to specify three arguments here. Okay, so you need to specify the target tables key column, and then the dimension tables key column, and then unit price. But we have another function called related. it makes your life very simple. But in the case of related function, the relationship should exist between the tables. Without relationship, it will not work. It will not do the lookup. But in this case, your job is pretty simple. As it's a very developer friendly. All you need to do is specify the column name. What column? The cost price. That's all. You need to specify the cost price. Here also, I have mentioned the related function. I've used the related here. Related. Look here, cost price related. Look here, this is the one. Yeah, it's there here only. So in this case, since there exists a relationship between the product dimension table and the sales fact table, it goes and picks up the corresponding price automatically. But in order for the related function to work, you need to have the relationship. Look here the product ID and then the product ID. This relationship is there, the link. Since the link is there, so it sends the product ID back here, and then behind the scene, it retrieves the cost price. Okay. Hence, in the case of related function, you don't have to specify, since there is a relationship we defined already, right? So it picks up the cost price for the corresponding price automatically from the other table. Other table is nothing but the product dimension table. Which table currently we are using it? We are using sales fact table. It's a transaction table. Okay. But in the case of lookup value function, this is similar to your Excel lookup value function. Okay. In this case, you need to specify 3 arguments, whereas here only 1 argument. But for this, the relationship should exist. Otherwise, it will not give you the correct answer. Whereas here, even though there are no relationship, even if you don't define any relationship between the fact table, sales fact and product key dimension table, product dimension table, still with the help of lookup value, you can retrieve the cost price. Look at both the related function and lookup value function returns the same value, correct value, right? For each corresponding product ID, it returns the correct cost price. So what is the difference between lookup value function and related function? Related function it requires only 1 argument, whereas lookup value requires 3 arguments. The other difference is, like I said, related function will work only with the relationship defined amongst your table, between tables. Otherwise, it will not work. And also, the related can only draw value from one to one or one side to many side. So in our case, the product table is a one side, and then the many side is your sales fact table. So one side to many side, you can use related function. In the case of lookup value, you don't need a relationship. Okay, that's all. Fine. And that is a difference between the lookup value function, related function. Now we have related and related table functions are available. Now we understood the related function also. The related function requires the relationship that exists between the current table and the table with the related information. It is similar to lookup value in Excel. Oh, really? I don't think so. Okay, I don't know. So if you have used, if you are an Excel user, maybe you might be using this function. The next one, the related table. This one works in the opposite, many to one. Many to one. So remember that related is one to many. In our case, the product dimension is one side. Many side is sales factable, right? So the one to many, right? Whereas in the case of related table, it's a many to one. I'll show you related table also. For that, I have used the dimension table, product dimension table. And if you see here, you look here, I have used the related table. So in this case, the sales fact is the many side. I've passed the many side table because this is a transaction table. This is not a dimension table or a lookup table. Dimension table is also called as a lookup table, whereas this is a transaction table. Okay, the sales fact table. This is a many side. Okay, I pass as an argument and then I wrap this one by count rows. Supposing you wanted to know each product in how many number of transactions we sold it. For P01, we built 2 invoices. For P003, we built 15 invoices. If you want to know that detail, In that kind of situation, the related table function is very much helpful. Even the related table, it requires the relationship between the tables, like the relate function, related function. That's all, guys. It's pretty simple. If somebody asks you what is the difference between these three, you can tell now. Okay. Next one is the cross filter, and then the active and inactive use relationship. This I already discussed when I explained about the data modeling part, right? So you can take a look at my video, that one. This is a very simple one, use relationship. If you want to temporarily activate your inactive relationship to active relationship, then you can use this function. But you cannot use this function directly. You need to wrap this function by your calculate function. And cross filter also we will have to wrap by your calculate function. The advantage of cross filter function is you can enable the bidirectional relationship programmatically instead of manually configuring it. You can enable it programmatically on a need basis. Okay, for example, I want to do the cross filtering. For example, I have the product dimension, customer dimension. If I want my customer dimension to filter my product dimension table, then between the product dimension table and the sales fact table, I'm going to enable the bidirectional relationship. But if I enable it manually, it will literally slow down the performance, because in the real world scenario, we are working with huge volume of data. Hence, we use a DAX function called cross filter to enable the bidirectional. So when will you be when will you be enabling the bidirectional relationship? You want to use your customer dimension table to filter the product dimension table. You need to enable cross filter as both, right? Bidirection. So in that case, you can use the cross filter function. This already discussed. You can take a look at this. If you are still not clear, you can come back to me. Okay. Next one is the most popular and frequently used functions in any analytical functions, any analytical project. The top n and the rank x function. The top n function also returns the top n function also returns the function. Okay, here let me see. I think I put it somewhere else. I think they shared the wrong PowerPoint. So evaluation. Okay, we have something called top n function. I just directly jump into the Power BI desktop. Look here. In this case, top n. So this is the function returns a table, like calculate table function and filter function. The top n function also returns a table. Look at this is the syntax here. The n value, top n, the n value. You can specify top 5, top 10. For example, you want to see the top 10 customers or top 25 customers in terms of sales or profit. With that, you can understand who are all your potential customers or profitable customer. Okay. And again, you can apply it for the regions or country also. Top 10 countries in terms of sales or profitability. The first argument is your n value. N is the number of rows to return. And second argument is your table. And third one is order by expression. Okay. And the which table to be sorted. Okay. So order by expression in this case. And sorry, this is your ascending or descending order. Okay. Sorry, the order by expression is the expression by which the table is to be sorted. Okay. The order is the one ascending or descending. Okay. So that kind of situation we can use it. Supposing you have let's 5 products you sell it, or 5 products. Let's the want to find out the top 3 selling products in terms of the sales. What will be the output in this case? The high selling product, right? For example, I just write it here. For example, you have product P1 and P2, P3, P4, P5. You sell 5 product, and here you get 100. Here you get 180, and you get let's 70. and 140, and let's say you have something called 350. If I ask you to give me the top three products in terms of sales, this is your sales column. This is product ID. So which one is the top one here, right? So this is the one. Second top selling product is this one, 180 and 140. So P5, P4, and P2, right? So using top n function, we can achieve this one. So in this case, I have used the top n function in table function. Okay, look here, modeling and create a table, new table. Because the top n function returns a table. Can I use the top n function as part of measure? Yes, that is also possible. Look here, using calculate, because top n function returns a table. I want to perform sum of sales on the top three customers in descending order. Okay, I want to find it. Now let us explore first of all how it works. In this case, I've created table category, and then here the sales, and then look here, the sales is this is a sales column. Here I've used top three revenue and top three profit. So before we dive in here, okay, okay, sorry, I should have shown here. Let me just check the top. Did I create top? Yeah, top three. Yeah, this is the table, right? Yeah, calculate table. Look here. If you use three as a first argument, second one is table name, and the third one is the expression, and the other one is the last one is your ascending or descending. Okay, in this case, use the sales column and sort the sales column in descending order and give me the top three sales related transaction. Now let us move to the sales column, and then we can see that 22,000. Okay, it's not giving in everywhere some problem, right? 13,000. Yeah, descending order, it should be opposite, right? Okay, maybe let me do one thing here. If I see a sort descending, yeah, by default, it should give as a descending, right? So this is the one descending. So if I use top n function based on the argument, for example, if I specify top 4 and press enter, it gives me the top 4 transaction where we made highest sales. Look here I have 11,000, but here the decimal it shows something big, right? That's the confusion. Okay, here the formatting, I just say 2 here. Okay, you can specify the format. If you specify the decimal, okay, round it up to 2, fine. So now we can see that the top selling, the first transaction, right? In the first transaction, the top sales, right? And we can see that. So you can also find out the product wise also. How do I find out top selling products, top selling, thing? So this one gives me out of the, let's assume that 10 million records, 10 million transactions, show me top 4 transactions in terms of highest sales. Yes. If you want to see the profit, you can use profit here. Okay. But the top n function returned a table itself. We are looking at in the data view, top 3. Okay. Now I go to the report view. Now we will go back to this visual. Look here, for you to understand quickly, I mentioned the measure name here itself. The calculate this one and top 3. Okay. And so top 3 revenue and top 3 profit, we want to see it for each category. So here category wise, I want to see the top 3 revenue and top 3 profit. What does this say? Can someone tell me what is happening here? What is your understanding here? Okay, I just go back to our what is this data set? This is a fact sales. This one came from sales W04. Okay, I just go to the sales W04 data set. I just select this one and the category I'm going to select it to test it. Okay, for you to understand. And here, okay, I just unselect everything and furniture only I'm going to select it. So before that, I want you to remember 38 lakhs. Okay, 38 lakhs here. Fine. Here 17,000, 17,000, 6,000, 38 lakhs, 78,000, something like that. And here I'm going to unselect furniture. I go to the sales column and I just go and top three revenue, right? Revenue is nothing but in this case, so here the top three revenue in category, how much? 10, 15, 16 and odd, 17 and odd, right? And if you see 17,157. Within this furniture category, give me the top three sales we made. Okay. And profit also. Top three profit. So 2000, how much? Uh, 2000, yeah, 2001 and 100 something, right? But here it shows 6,484. Okay. And top three profit. Let me just go and check the top three profit here. Yeah, sales profit and sum of sales and top three. Okay. Here also we use the calculate function, but here it shows 6484, right? So yeah, you need to sort it here, right? Here we did not sort it in descending order, right? So your top three, sort it in descending order. So much here, 6,000, 6,000, 100 and 400, something like that. 6,400. Yeah, correct. So this is how you need to test it. Okay. Simply creating visual, but how do you validate whether it's how do you justify the management? Every day status call will be there. They'll ask you all the questions. Okay. So within each category, if I wanted to see the top three revenue and top three profit or top five or top three sales, top three profit, right? So here descending order. I mentioned about descending order. Top three in the sense, yeah, the descending order should be there. The default one is ascending order. Okay. So this is how you can find out. In this case, we have used the category. If you want to use the, if you want to view by product, you need to put the product column here. So in each product, how much sales we achieve, and give me the product wise top three sales and profit. That is another way of checking it out. Okay. So in this case, look here. The first argument is n. Whatever value that you want, you can specify. Top three sales performance or top three sales, top three highest sales. Top three, sorry, if they want to see the lowest sales, how do you find out? Bottom sales. See, we have the filter pane, you can find out that one also. But how do you find out the bottom three value? So I just go here, top three revenue. It came out of the box from my head. Top three, sorry, top three revenue, right? Here, one option is you can give the ascending order, right? If you give the ascending order, it gives you the bottommost one. Let's see the ascending. Obviously, right? It will go and take the three records. Yeah, zero and all. There are some cases we did not make any revenue at all. Some transactions. I think because of the blank record and all. Okay. Let's go and check that one. So working with the data is big burst challenge. Okay, and if they are, they will ask you in the status call like this. Americans, they'll ask you, can you change it to ascending? Tell me why you are getting zero. You need to justify that. So we'll look here in the sales, we put zero, right? The reason why we put zero was there were some blank values are there. That is the reason we put zero. So again, they'll ask you why you put zero there because some blank values were there. Okay. So now you understood how to find out the top three or top n values using top n function. The top n function returns a table, and at the same time, you can use the top n function as part of your calculate function also. Right. The since the top n function. Look here in this case, if you take a closer look at here. Here it gives me the top three sales here out of the total number of records, right? Here I mentioned top three here and some are source. But since I cannot use the top n directly as part of my visual, because if I use top n function, it creates the table itself. It returns a table. But if I want to use it in a measure, you'll have to do it this way only. Okay, you can use the second one as a filtering condition, something like that. Okay, the top n thing, top three records, and obviously when you drag and drop any text column along with this value, the filter is coming from each row. Okay, it does the filtering automatically. Okay, in each category, giving the top three revenue, top three profit. Most of them they got confused. So this is the one we already created. We separately in the calculate table. It returned out of the total sales. It gave me the top three transactions with highest sales, but that sale value and this value sale value is not matching. But because in this case we have used this one in a measure, right? And here the filter is coming from each row also. Okay. So now you understood top n. The interview they'll ask you another question. Okay, first they will ask, what is top n function? So how do you make your top n as a dynamic one? Dynamic top n, how will you find out? Now, how can I make it dynamic? Can someone tell me? How can we make it dynamic? How can we make it dynamic? Yeah, just 5 minutes, Pooja. We'll finish it up. Yeah, it's already 11, right? How do you make it dynamic? So far, I discussed, right? Selected value. You can use selected value. Look here, static table, you can create it. In the static value, the column name is values, whatever the number that you want, you can key in here. And then you create a visual, dynamic top 10. In this case, how will you, find the top 10 revenues? Supposing when I select top 15 revenue, supposing the user wants to see top 20 revenue, supposing they want to see the top 5 revenue, they should be able to see it here, right? Look here, in this case, top n, the selected value, I stored the selected value of this, um, what is this? The slicer, right? The selected value of this slicer value. For example, the 15 gets stored here, top n 15, comma, sales W0, that is what it shows. Now you understood where and all we can use selected value. So now I've demonstrated with multiple examples of static table and selected value. Conditional, dynamic conditional formatting, you can use selected value to make it dynamic. So here it gives you more interactive, right? The user not only can see top 5, they can see top 10, top 15, top 20, whatever they want. Okay. Sure. Okay. So that's all, guys. With this, I'm going to wrap up. And tomorrow we'll continue with the rank X function. Are you all okay with 7:30? Is it okay for you all? 7:30. Some of you said you will be reaching home late. 7:30 is okay tomorrow. You'll start little early. Oh yeah. So someone said 9 o'clock only possible. Others said 8:30 when the office. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow, let's make sure that we'll spend up to 11. Okay, because we need to cover more. Fine. We'll circle back tomorrow. I'm going to wrap up this now. Any questions before that? Yes, Leela, I will share it. Leela and Pooja, I will share it. Don't worry. Okay, the files. Okay, fine. Since you don't have any questions, I'm going to wrap up the session. See you all in tomorrow's session. Okay, bye.